What is ego? Hello. You are. I am. We all are, if that's what we choose to let fuel our thoughts. And until you start to take check of egoic thoughts, or even become conscious of the fact that our thoughts could have ego attached to them, until we've got to that point, then we're just in unconscious mode of just repeating behavior and thoughts. And then we start to become conscious of this thing called the ego. Look, the ego is a label, a name for, oops, just scratched my car, I think. By the way, I'm videoing these on a very secluded driveway kind of thing. It's not technically a driveway, but there's not many people that come here. Anyway, so the ego may look a little like this. I want to become the best version of myself because everybody else is doing the internal work, and I know I'm great, but no, anyway, that's an extreme ego. But a lot of the times we will do internal work and do yoga and stuff for the fact that we don't want to be seen by other people in a light that doesn't allow us to shine. That's deep ego. And sometimes, depending on where I've been feeding my mind and what I've been observing and how on point I am at detecting, I have these thoughts come up and I think, is that why I'm doing what I'm doing? But I know, and this is me purely just rationalizing, obviously, in my head. Maybe I've still got something to work on, I don't know. I feel as though I'm doing this, being vulnerable and sharing stuff that I can see and feel, and some views of my opinions, I guess, in some senses, or just me shedding light on what I see pretty much and interpret from the goings on around me. It's a really personal vulnerability, because for me, I've always been taught to really downplay who I am, because and not taught necessarily, my parents didn't make me, but I observed and really became conscious of if I was ever stroking my ego from an early age, because my dad thought you just have to be really humble, and you don't want recognition for things and blah blah blah. So I took on that approach to life, and I struggle putting myself out there, because I shouldn't say I struggle, I'm still learning to put myself out there, knowing that it's from a healthy, balanced frame, because I actually see the need for some of what I've learned to be out. Well, I would like to take charge in my life anyway, and I'm going over a really bumpy patch of road. Anyway, if you want to have a little look, this is Australia for you. It's my beach track when the tide's too high to get up to the point. And it's nice just cruise along here chatting to you guys. So ego is keeping tabs on why, I guess. The process of becoming aware of ego would be to really ask yourself, why are you doing what you're doing each day and each moment? And set aside some time to really ask yourself, well, why do I want to do this in life? Or why did I, share that in my social media posts, or what am I like? I see a lot of people that really obviously are screaming for love with what they project on social media, and I see a lot of people proclaiming that they don't feel worthy because of the language they use around the captions and the photos they post. And it's like a lot of people are trying to overcompensate for maybe not like loving themselves at a deep level. Well, definitely not loving themselves at a deep level. Only natural, because we're just stepping into these more aware and awakened times, and we're at the brink, and there's been a lot of extremes, so everything naturally would be extreme too, and we just talked about that in the last video. This one is about ego. So getting back to the ego, you will learn with me that nothing's just necessarily straight black and white, and there's a lot of loops, curves and front flips to get to what I say, but it's all for the greater good of love. And it's just me. I don't know how to be anything else. And so ego, how to check in with your ego. Give yourself some time, start to become aware, start to just make that process. Everything you do in transformation is literally welcoming repetition, of training. We have trained our brains to be what they are right here in this moment, and if you're not happy with the way your life is, if there's something you're not happy with, or if you think there could be some want and need for expansion, then you're going to hang on. This part of the road has some massive potholes in, and we're right on getting close to dusk, and I just need to be smart right now. Very smart. I like my car as she is. So getting back to the ego, asking yourself why, going deeper and deeper, and really check in with yourself. That's one little technique and tool that I use to recognize my ego. I just sit with my thoughts a lot of the times and really analyze why I'm doing what I'm doing, and if it's for somebody else, and for the approval of others, then I know that I'm activating and doing something for ego. So if I'm looking for, or if you are doing something because at a conscious and unconscious level you're doing it to obtain, or you're seeking an external opinion or validation that you are worthy, or that you're enough, or that that's why, maybe it's what you've been taught, that's how you should be, or that's what the Bible says, or that's this and that, and then you're acting out of ego, and your thoughts are in ego. Oops, I gotta turn here. And so ask yourself why, get deeper. Ask yourself if it's for an external check. So if you're doing something with an internal check, so if you're doing something because it feeds your soul, or because it liberates you, or makes you feel lighter, or you feel happy, or you're feeling like you're in that flow of life, and it's coming from within, then that's generally acting out of the love of what you're doing and how you're thinking, and so it's just starting to become conscious of where thoughts and behavior is what's motivating your thoughts and behavior. That's a good way to put it. What's motivating your thoughts and behavior? That's where things like these emotions we call ego, fear, like a lot of what we do is fear driven and motivated by fear. And ego and fear go really like quite healthily together, and marinate with each other pretty much, and make like a source of toxicness. And sometimes we've trained ourselves to near on believe that toxicness is a delicious marinade, but it's just because we've trained our taste buds that certain way, and we may not have even given ourselves the opportunity to have trained our taste buds to really genuinely enjoy the marinade or the dressing that was of pure light and natural and loving ingredients like love and extra virgin cold pressed olive oil and lemon and cumin and salt and pepper and chili. If you put those on any dish, I promise you, like a good amount of lemon, like you gotta have good lemon, good salt, good proportions of cumin and chili. I love chili, but anyway, you put that on any dish, like any, especially like veggie dishes, oh my goodness, it makes it absolutely like delicious. So we can train our taste buds, and I believe that maybe some people have been trained or have been programmed or conditioned. A lot of us have been conditioned to, actually all of us have been conditioned to pleasurably enjoy some of the darkness, the fear and the ego. We've neuron like programmed ourselves because we like naturally forward momentum, but we also like to be kept, in our safe zones. So provided we've got something to feed on, we're naturally doing the process of life, and we neuron kind of train ourselves to really like think that we like that marinade made of ego, and maybe we like aspects of it that it makes us feel temporarily good, or like we've got things in control in our life, or like we are successful because we've programmed ourselves or been programmed and conditioned to think that to be successful in life you need to have obtained whatever it is you think you need to have obtained. And 9 times out of 10 there's this thing called peer pressure and social pressure, and it's like a whole heap that we are now expected, or that we internally kind of allow ourselves to believe that we are expected to obtain to be successful. And I'm just gonna like talk out loud here and say that this is not sustainable. The ego-driven success is not sustainable in this materialistic consumer society that we've built, and it shows. It shows all across the earth with the strain that we're putting on it by driving, and absorbing and create. Like, there's a lot of beauty in it all, but it's not sustainable. So let's now, through our conscious awareness, start to, for the greater good of all of the generations to come, train and program and nourish our ego into like a balance of that we are doing good. Like we can empower ourselves and nourish our ego to kind of motivate us to work towards sustainability in our achievements, in our world around us, in our financial gain, in our the material possessions that we keep thinking, or programmed ourselves to think we need more to fill that void, when really we're actually just searching for full self-love, acceptance, and balance and harmony in our unconditional love for ourselves and for others around us. And so when we start to nourish our egos and really start to live in harmony with our ego, we can be doing good while we're reprogramming our ego, knowing that we're actually taking these massive steps. You know what? I just didn't buy that new car for everybody, for the greater good of everybody. You know what? I chose to, be happy with what I've got now. I've chose to not go and buy that new dress to make me feel good about myself because I overate, because I am eating my feelings, because I have no direction and drive in life and nowhere to go, and feeling the pressure of society. And so now I'm going to go and buy something else to try and fill that void. I mean, who's been there? Who's done that? Lots of people. I know lots of yous. And if you haven't got your hand up, then, I'm not just talking like dresses and stuff. Have you gone and bought an extra couple of bottles of wine or an extra box of beer to soothe your emptiness that you've created by not using everything that we've been given? There's so much right now that we can be tapping into, so much, like podcasts, YouTube, social media. There's so much knowledge about spirituality, about how to, Aubrey Marcus, for guides who want to start to learn how to check in with their ego, follow like Aubrey Marcus, and I like Joe Rogan as well. He's like really cool. He's actually fucking really funny. And I have a massive crush on Aubrey Marcus because he's a babe. But, and I'm happy and open to say that. Because, I'm human. And I'm not sitting here saying that I know everything. I actually am getting to these points of consciousness where I realize that I know nothing. Like, I literally know nothing. Because we are always evolving and in this rapid speed of acceleration and change as we expand. Nothing stays the same ever. Like, it is continuously evolving. Maybe a little bit out of what we would like to think is sustainable balance right now, but all in the greater picture, exactly where it should be, and traveling ideally, I'm hoping, trusting, handing it over, living in faith that we are exactly where we need to be as a conscious collective, and that we are all now starting to recognize and nourish our egos into a greater good scenario, no longer just for ourselves, that our egos can reach out and link arms between us spiritually, energetically, physically. Energetically to me is physically, but yeah, it's everything. And we let's reach out, let's turn our egos from inward to this healthy flow and balance where it's like, yeah, let's let our ego nourish us and full on just transcend us into the most healthy, balanced, sustainable, incredible new earth where we all just live in harmony and peace and still learnings, but they're on just a different level. They're on a level of learnings, of forward learnings, of how beautiful it is to reach out, where we get to the point where there's millions of us across the globe just holding arms in fields and streets and wherever we are, but we're just reaching out to each other on a physical level, on a spiritual, on emotional, every level. And these kind of things, it's just a matter of space and time before they are, and that we are experiencing this. And I pledge and I reckon let's make this happen collectively. Let's start to come together collectively to create this new earth that is happening whether we like it or not, but let's create it into the most magnificent, interconnected, balanced, harmonic, life and experience for everyone to come, and for us in this lifetime too, to be able to go through these like absolute extremes where we're rebirthing and bringing to life incredible traditions, and letting go of those old stories in our minds that aren't serving us, and truly tapping into all that does serve the collective whole and this earth and the universe, and really starting to allow our ego to nourish this life, rather than have so much control. So we're going to just like tone down that dial of ego in all of our lives now, and really just see it as it just takes its healthy place on your throne, and just drives you and motivates you into a healthy, harmonic future for all. Peace.